Hello and welcome to For Every Bright Idea, the new podcast from the Business and Intellectual Property Centre in Norfolk. In this series of podcasts, we're going to talk about some of the business issues in Norfolk and some of the information and resources that BIPC can offer you. And also, we'll talk with some of our partners and local entrepreneurs in the Norfolk area. My name is Pete Golland and I'm the BIPC coordinator for West Norfolk and North Norfolk. And I'm joined today by my colleague Johnny Ellis. Hi, Johnny.
Hello, everyone. I am the BIPC Norfolk coordinator in Great Yarmouth and Wroxham.
Thanks very much. We also should have had our other colleague, Julie Clemenson, who's the BIPC coordinator for Norwich and South Norfolk, but she's not here, so she won't be here today. But you will from hearing from her later on in the series of podcasts. So the Business and Intellectual Property Centre, what exactly is it? Well, basically, we offer free and low-cost advice to business startups in the Norfolk area. But Johnny, tell us a bit more about it. Go on.
Yeah, so as Pete says, for startups and existing businesses in Norfolk, we provide completely free support and resources. So it's really worth making the most of, as it's all free. And the reason why it's all free is because we're run through the Norfolk Library Service, and everything that you can access in the library service is free. So therefore, our platform of business events and resources is also free of charge. So we can provide you with access to events and resources. And BIPC Norfolk is part of a national network of business and intellectual property centres across the country, and we are coordinated centrally via the British Library. And as part of our remit, we have a range of events, advice sessions and workshops and networking. And Pete, do you want to touch on that at all?
Yeah, I mean, we run a whole series of events. Some of them are online and some of them are actually in person in the library. So we work with local partners. So we have one-to-one sessions with local accountants and solicitors. We can come and talk about your accounting issues or any commercial law problems, landlord and tenancy, things like that. And we have our spotlight sessions, which are sort of individual sessions specifically about business issues like social media or bookkeeping, that kind of thing, intellectual property. Our favourites are the networking sessions. That's where we get to meet all our customers in a social situation and talk about to entrepreneurs and some of the issues that they're facing. And we have general ones, but we've also started a series of Women Talk Business, our women-only networking sessions for female entrepreneurs. They're really great sessions. Been running them in Norfolk libraries over the last few months. They're really, really good. And we also run a more social one in the Morton Mardle Micro Pub in Norwich. That's a very enjoyable one where we sit around and have a beer. Yeah, you will like that
Definitely
one,
our
don't you, Johnny?
favourites. Yeah,
Have
that
a
is
beer and
absolutely
talk
our
to some,
favourite.
yep, and talk to some local entrepreneurs. We're also working with local business advisors, Mentor, on a startup program. So this basically is everything you need to know about starting up a business. It's a whole program of digital events going on. And we also, in some of the libraries, run one-to-ones on intellectual property and market research, so you can find out more about your IP and information about the particular sector your business is involved in.
So Pete, which libraries can customers access our events at, and are they online as well?
That's a very good question, Johnny. So the main library is the business library in the Norfolk and Norwich Millennium Library in Norwich, but we also have hubs located at Great Yarmouth, Kings Lynn, Cromer, Thetford, Wymondham and Wroxham. Did I get all those, Johnny?
You
I think
got
I
them
got
all
them.
right. Well done. I
Yep,
was ticking them off as you went along. Yeah,
very
full
good.
marks.
Yep. Everything can be accessed on our Eventbrite page for free. So if you log on to the or search for the BIPC Norfolk Eventbrite page, you'll find all our events listed there. There's quite a lot coming up at the moment. And you can also sign up for our newsletter as well. But you were saying about some of the resources that we have in the library, Johnny. I know we have books and ebooks and journals and such like. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the other ones?
Yeah, absolutely. So, of course, as a library, we provide access to a wide range of books and ebooks, but we also have a specialist offer in market research, business intelligence, and that kind of thing. So, through a Norfolk Library card, which of course you can get for free, you can access at any of our BIPC Norfolk libraries, which Pete mentioned, up to £5 million worth of market research, industry guides, business to business data. And this is all there to help startup businesses perform their market research, get the information they need when thinking about, what opportunities are there? Is my business idea suitable? Is there a demographic for the product? and we're able to provide you with the market research opportunities you will need to be able to get the data for business plans. And
It's a really great resource, isn't it, Johnny? Because you can download quite a lot of it and take it away with you, can't you, for some of the databases?
Yeah, absolutely. And as we said, it's such a valuable resource. It costs an absolute ton to access outside of the library.
It's a technical term.
It is a ton. And I think me and Pete, we're going to do another podcast looking in
Yeah,
depth at our
we're gonna look.
databases, aren't we?
Yeah, but tell us a little bit about Cobra, Johnny, because that's the one everyone likes.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that, Pete. It's almost like we've planned this out. Cobra is the complete online business reference advisor. It's basically an encyclopedia of business information. And we know for a fact that entrepreneurs use it, wannabe entrepreneurs use it for their startups, and even qualified business advisors that we talk to, they all use Cobra as their go-to for checking business information. Honestly, the database is too wide to describe in a few seconds, in a few minutes, but it does offer a hell of a lot of information.
It's got everything, hasn't it? It's got like legislation, employer information, liability insurance, health and safety, foods, basically any of your business interest that you have, it can tell everything you need to know. And it's really specific, isn't it, Johnny? You can search for virtually any type, from worm farmers to dog walkers.
Exactly. So they have something on Cobra called a business opportunity profile. So pretty much any business idea you can think of, Cobra is going to have you covered. It's going to have a 10, 20, 30 page PDF file with sort of 101 information on that business idea and how to get it off the ground. And I know the first one I ever saw when I logged onto Cobra for the first time was for a coffin maker, which is a ridiculously niche business idea, but yet Cobra had a whole fact sheet available for all you wannabe coffin makers out there. So Cobra is really worth checking out. And also you can access Cobra at the BIPC Norfolk libraries, but also all Norfolk libraries across their county. And again, you just need a Norfolk library card to access that.
Brilliant. Thanks, Johnny. So the other thing we do, the IP part of the BIPC, is intellectual property. Now, intellectual property is like a general term for protecting your innovation and creativity. And it's something that's really important for small businesses and startups to think about, because you really need, it adds value to your business. It allows you to protect your ideas and creativity.
Yep.
So what are the different types of IP, Johnny? We're going to do a podcast on this, aren't we, separately to talk about it, but just briefly tell us what the different types of IP are.
Yep. So we get trademarks, which I think probably the majority of our inquiries are about. So trademarks is like your logos, your business names, and how to protect that. There's also copyright, which is for protecting creative work, so films, art, any literary works, etc., things like that. And then there's patents, which is your inventions, and then there's designs, which is the aesthetic look and sometimes even feel of products. And as Pete mentioned, we've been trained by the Intellectual Property Office in Wales, actually. So we can provide you with introductory advice covering IP. And IP is an area that is really difficult to get free advice for. So it's really worth making the use of us. And we also have, and I'll pass over to Pete because I know he's chomping at the bit to mention it.
Dying to tell you.
You are. So we have some legal intellectual property advice sessions available as well, don't we, Pete?
We do, yeah. We have the wonderful Melanie Harvey from Burkitt's LLP, who are IP attorneys, and she gives up her time for free, which is very kind of her because she doesn't come cheap, to help us with our intellectual property advice, especially the legal side of it. And we're hoping to have her as a guest on our next podcast. She rather rashly promised to be our first guest on the proper podcast. So she'll be joining us next time to talk a little bit about intellectual property and being an IP attorney. But it's a really important subject, and we'll come back to talking about the individual aspects of IP later on in the next lot of podcasts.
Yeah.
Well, how do you access all this information? Well, you can come into your local library and ask us. If you go into one of the main libraries, the hubs, as we mentioned, you'll get access to more databases and more information. You can email us on bipcnorfolk@norfolk.gov.uk. We also have a website, which is www.norfolk.gov.uk/BIPC Norfolk. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Well, thanks very much for joining us for our first podcast. We really enjoyed doing it, had a good time working all this out. We hope to see you again soon with our first one with an interview with Melanie Harvey from Burkitt's. But until then, it's very good to meet you all. And my name's Pete Golland. We'll be speaking to you soon. Thanks a lot, Johnny.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.